2 of the .hack GU review, where our updates are still slow, mainly because, well, when you keep buying new frickin' games, your schedule is quite busy. Yeah, I'm not reviewing these either, these are mainly just for fun.
Our story continues from where we last left off, with the aftermath of Atoli being attacked by AIDA, which was after Haseo finally managed to take down that pesky Tri-Edge. Apparently being level 50 is perfectly fine to take this guy on, compared to level 133. And yes, that was just a sarcastic joke, you don't need to correct me on that. The result was that her epitaph was stolen, and she is unable to use her right hand, with the model even showing it cracked. Sad thing is, this kinda brings out a phobia of mine, of having cracked and damaged skin. Frickin' chickenpox always gave me the damn nightmares. This also extends to her real-life counterpart, unable to move her hand, and even being forced to go to specialists that just cannot help her. This is all discovered during a hefty sum of plot, which basically has everyone trapped in the game world, though that's solved before it turns into a Sword Art Online situation. It serves a few purposes, one of them creating distrust with Yada, who keeps hiding things so much that even Kun leaves the group. Really, it's just an excuse not to have Kun involved and make Yada an even bigger asshole that does things mysteriously. Hell, we even have the generic dark figure to make him look possibly sinister or something. Although, good god, that model. Add some bat to that for God's sake. Or given the dialogue, just add this too.
We've got to have money.
But the real thing this plotline also helps establish is that Moontree isn't something that's going to stay in the background, particularly with Sakaki finding out about Yada's group. Added with the previous game hinting at him overthrowing the guildmaster Zelkoba, his plans are about to go into effect. The game barely hides it too, given his association with an AIDA-infected Bordeaux later. However, he isn't the main threat at first. Rather, it's Azure Balmung and Azure Orca, warped versions of 2 legendary characters from the previous game, but otherwise lack personality. Together, they seem to be trying to revive Tri-Edge, or Azure Kite as he's really known. Their models are later seen alongside Sirius, who is driven to insanity thanks to AIDA. I didn't actually explain what else AIDA does, so now's a good time to actually explain some more of the effects. It's able to heighten emotions in exchange for great power, turn the user into something insane. It's exactly what happened with Endrance in the last game, since he was Elk in the previous game series, and the AIDA took advantage of that, making him think Elk was reunited with Mia. Since this game world is Revision 2, chances are Mia died in Revision 1 for good, when they had to delete it or something. That's the best guess I can think of. Alkaid is the one to help bring this matter to Haseo, and the two work together in the tournament to try and solve the situation, as Alkaid cares more about her friend than her own stubborn pride. Structurally speaking, the plot moves at a decent pace, though there are quite a few more stopping points to try and pad out the game. These usually include trying to get more virus cores, which actually kinda undermines a fight later in the game, as you fight that same form of item multiple times, making that moment feel less special. And there are times when the game tries to throw in mandatory quests. One example is dealing with Syllabus, who Gaspard has said has been feeling out of it lately. And yet not once are those issues ever brought up for the quest, and it's saved for an email later in the game. Despite that, I do feel we get to know enough about the characters and the roles in the story. Just don't expect Pyros III to suddenly pop out in the middle of the main plot to fight against Azure Kite. For now, let's discuss how the characters have changed since Volume 1. Kun and Pi won't be mentioned due to their limited involvement, and nothing really changes that much apart from Kun leaving and coming back later due to trust issues. While Haseo has definitely grown, there are some traces of his dickery when dealing with someone like Sakaki, likely because he believes he has his hooks too deep into Atoli and he just doesn't trust him. You can throw jealousy in there as well, and I'd buy it too. Plus the game does show that he has trouble expressing himself, usually defaulting to his bitter personality when not knowing what else to do or carefully explaining why some people just can't help. Given his attitude against Sakaki, it definitely helps show that he needs more support. One such example is the job extension quest. Due to his concerns about the condition of Atoli, along with AIDA, he's put back into his old mindset. As Syllabus and Gaspard joke about, mainly just recalling how they met Haseo and are just having fun, Haseo gets frustrated and actually ditches them in order to open the chest by himself, since they weren't taking things seriously. Though as a reminder, Syllabus and Gaspard are kinda kept in the dark about everything that's going on within the GU universe rolling around AIDA or epitaphs, so they're just players looking to have some fun and help others. Haseo does redeem himself though by recalling things Atoli and Alkaid said about him, and going back to his friends and apologizing, or at least does so in his own version of it, but the meaning is generally the same. This is yet another thing I love about Haseo, the ability to recognize what he did is wrong and trying to correct it. Believe me, that's an ability that's kind of been lost at time for both fictional and non-fictional characters. It's here where we also get some more insight, like Atoli and Alkaid's words reminding him of fun, and being alone, well, that sucks. Other things involving Haseo's development heavily depends on Atoli, so we'll stop here for now. That and Ovan. Alkaid has actually shown some development in between games, explaining what she was like before Entrance beat her, and how obsessed she was in taking him down, hating Haseo for it and blaming him. And remember, both of them had to cheat in order to defeat Alkaid. It's basically taking away the prize from someone who's been working so damn hard to try and be the best, and they can just do it in a second and you're just wondering, what the flying hell happened? Not to mention, I imagine she would be much more angry if she knew she could have easily been put into a coma. But with her options limited in helping a friend, she has to swallow her pride and struggle to accept Haseo. And that had to be hard as both could be dicks to one another, given their first meeting involved Alkaid choking him. Which I'm wondering how that works in a digital game, but whatever. It's likely why she chose such a dungeon filled with so many armored enemies, to test Haseo a bit to see if he did have natural skills at least, and to get out some aggression so she wasn't going to yell at him constantly.
Or that's the justification I'm going with since it took me forever to S-rank this stupid mission. So really, I could just be pulling all this crap out of my ass.
Much like Haseo, she kinda has trouble expressing herself sometimes. If you just talk to her, she can babble on and on about how talking is important, and clearly shows she doesn't know how to handle gratitude she feels to Haseo, while also trying to remember he still cheated. Her mind is put at ease thanks to Atoli since Haseo clearly shows how much he cares about her. And gradually those feelings start to grow when Haseo starts to remind her a bit of Sirius, and he even gave up his throne to help her, even if he was mostly thinking about solving the AIDA problem. She even teases Haseo and Atoli at times to help her own mood, but is unable to handle feelings like affection, such as with the honeysuckle thing, and learning how the weapon symbolized eternal affection. It was kind of the equivalent of handing Haseo a Valentine's Day card. Naturally, she ran off, unable to recover from that quick enough. Now, with all my praises aside, I do feel like they should have developed her a bit more in the first game, given her connection to certain characters, which was revealed in a manga. The coma strike would have had much more of an impact to those that weren't swayed by her attitude in Vol.2. Then again, I also want her reaction of realizing Haseo nearly put her into a coma, and we sadly never get such a thing. But for what her role is, she does the job well enough. Atoli does get some more development in this volume as well, though it mostly starts out as wanting to be more useful and issues of blaming herself. Something Haseo shares as well in this game since he was kinda responsible for getting her to run off and overall being a dickhead. Granted, Ovan also helped with that. For the most part, that is her shtick, as she tries to help solve a situation she believes is her fault, since a lot of this was caused because she lost her epitaph. She gets more edged out of the tournament due to AIDA issues, and only epitaph users like Pi and Endrance stand a chance against such foes. Though when she is finally healed, Sakaki comes to fuck all that up, and we do get a bit more insight into the relationship. Recall how Atoli always depended on him. Combined with AIDA, Sakaki is able to distort her emotions far more, making her vulnerable and even control her. Yet it also kinda reflects how Sakaki is able to control others or get them to be loyal to him, through faith and understanding, and usually being one of the only people who can be relied on. It's why some characters openly side with Sakaki without the aid of AIDA. People are willing to do questionable crap for the sake of someone who ended up saving them in one way or another.
And then they ruined him by making him a child possessed by AIDA or some crap. Thank you for ruining an interesting, if obvious, villain.
Atoli's situation is an easily understandable one. We see it as she is controlled and manipulated by AIDA, showing how she always sought to fit in with people rather than be herself since no one really cared about the real her. Her friends would want one thing so they could all look cool, while her parents wanted her to just be quiet and obedient. It only describes one incident, mind you, but it's an understandable feeling as you can't always satisfy someone, and lacking the strength to do anything about it can lead to one feeling depressed. More understandable when you remember she's still technically a kid like Haseo. Not too young, but young enough where this kind of crap is important and independence is kind of impossible at the moment. It's why she embraced Sakaki, as that smug asshole soon explains, which does bring out a rather creepy side to the guy. Given how well he treated and manipulated Matsu and Hiragi, I can easily paint him as that one asshole our parents warned us about on the internet, manipulating people's feelings in exchange for something to do whatever they want for him, pure loyalty or other bad stuff I really do not want to get into. And that kinda makes him an interesting villain in a way. But like I said earlier, they eventually fuck it up with him just being a kid, which made absolutely no sense to me, and I hate the child genius trope unless it's used right. Admittedly, Haseo's method of helping her is a bit off, especially considering what has happened, but I prefer to see it like Endrance says. For all the times we want and need hugs and moral support, sometimes we need a good reality check to snap out of it. Depression can make you that insane, and sometimes support for that will just lead to the same tired bullshit again and again, and your friends will get sick of it. Haseo himself kinda needed that at certain points, like with Atoli slapping him, or Kun using his avatar to fight Haseo. That said, considering the amount of verbal abuse Haseo has given her, one can just add this as to more reasons why these two should not be together. Surprisingly, you never fight the new Azure versions of Balmung and Orca in this one. Well, technically you don't, as it's revealed that the ones with Sirius are fakes, and hint that they want to destroy AIDA instead. Rather, the main villain revealed was a fairly obvious one. Ovan. On top of being part of the super mysterious trope, he kinda gave himself away by needlessly revealing to Atoli why Haseo hung around her, and helped cause the situation Haseo finds himself in. Despite it being obvious though, it is very entertaining, and even a bit horrifying at how quickly he's able to deal with Atoli and Pi, taking them out within seconds, or even when he reappears behind Haseo, at a point when everyone thought Ovan was gone for good. And back then, I never guessed he was actually Tri-Edge alt this time, especially when I didn't finish Roots until after I played the games. I mean, they have Azure Kite able to make the same mark in one attack in Volume 1, I think. The feats Ovan demonstrated also help sell him as a serious threat, one that could easily kill Haseo whenever he wants to in an ambush. The only reason he doesn't is due to him wanting Haseo to kill him. But after the first loss, it's clear Haseo has to do it in another way. When the truth about Ovan is revealed, that he is working with AIDA for mysterious reasons, it actually puts another test on Haseo, one dealing with trust yet again. Or at least belief, since of all the characters, Ovan was the person he trusted the most. To say this messes with Haseo's head in multiple ways is a frickin' understatement. Hell, even after beating Ovan once, he actually gets tired of all this crap and needs a break. Makes me wonder if he threw something at the wall when he saw Ovan come back after being defeated. The last character we'll look at is Entrance, and I know I did this out of order. Originally, I didn't think I could get that much out of him, but mulling it over, I was able to think of something. The main thing with him is his codependency issues, and it kinda relates to Haseo beyond him clearly wanting to, touch swords, if you catch my drift. But before Haseo helped him, we can see how their obsessions turned them into monsters. For Haseo, we obviously knew he was hurting people, and started not to care until Kun stepped in. But nobody stepped in for Entrance, leaving him to his own devices to be extremely selfish. I do at least remember in the old games that Elk was kinda the same way, albeit much weaker and timid, yet still really wanting to be with Mia, one of the only friends he had ever trusted. When Mia was revealed to be one of the 8 phases, he did kinda screw over Kite's gang by ruining a plan. And when the previous version of the world vanished with the arrival of Revision 2, chances are Mia was gone for good, and that likely crushed the guy. He clearly has some personal issues, so maybe that's why he became more of a fighter, to show how strong he could get to Mia. His attachment to Haseo could likely be seen as less healthy for him, and given the word Haseo says, it's clear Entrance is the kind of guy who wants to be relied upon, to be needed. It's not completely unrelatable in that sense, and kinda reminds me of Atoli a bit. The portrayal of it being a bit unhealthy though, well, it kinda makes Entrance look like a one-note kinda guy. Admittedly, he is able to empathize with one of Sakaki's goons in a surprisingly good moment, so it's not all about wanting to see Haseo naked.
And those are my thoughts for Volume 2. So let's head off to Volume 3 as soon as I finish editing and all that jazz. I'm the Smartest Moron, and thank you for watching.